Robin Wheelright. We're here at Vivienne Kitchen and Pantry. We are Portland's Culinary Bookstore, and our goal here is to unite people around food and to teach us all to be better cooks by the amazing books that we sell here. So welcome to my kitchen. I am making a Kohlrabi Slaw today with stuff that I got out of my CSA box, and also a couple of extra things I picked up at the farmer's market. And who knows, we might get crazy and throw a few things that I have in my pantry into it as well, but we'll see how that goes. So I just want to talk about kohlrabi. This is my star ingredient. Kohlrabi is in the brassica family, and it is as easy to grow, I hear, as kale, and harder or easier to grow than broccoli, but it doesn't sell as well as either of them. So I think we all need to embrace kohlrabi, and I'm hoping that my recipe today for a quick kohlrabi slaw will help get you into that mindset. Okay, so kohlrabi is my star ingredient here, and then I'm also going to use carrots in this slaw, and I have some little spring onions. They look a lot like scallions right now, but I think they're just baby onions. And even though I know they're different plants, I'm not sure too much about the difference between scallions and spring onions, and I use them kind of interchangeably. And then these little asparagus are in season at the farmer's market, so I picked those up and had them in the fridge, and we're going to use those today. And then I have a little cilantro and mint, and I'm going to make a dressing with yogurt and a little oil, a little vinegar, and some salt, pretty much. So without further ado, we're going to get cooking. The first thing I want to do is just put some water to boil, because I'm going to blanch my asparagus. So blanch means I'm going to put them in boiling water that I've seasoned with salt for a really short amount of time, probably about 30 seconds or so. Okay. So while I cut my carrots and my kohlrabi, I'm just going to turn on this water and get it boiling, and I will add salt before I put my asparagus in, so that salt flavor will season my asparagus and it'll taste more delicious than if I hadn't done that. So for my kohlrabi, I really like kohlrabi. It reminds me, the taste, I've heard it called Midwestern jicama. It really reminds me of cabbage, and because we're using it in a coleslaw today, I feel like it is cabbage. This is my cabbage. And I like kohlrabi because it looks like a little alien head with a cute hairstyle, and sometimes this one has a lot of hair, but sometimes you'll just see 2 or 3 of these spindly stalks with a nice green leaf on top. And they're cute aliens. Let us embrace them. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off the stalks, and these greens are fabulous for cooking down in, like, if you're making a pot of beans, you can cook these in your bean water and they will taste fabulous. You can also just cook them in like water with salt and maybe a little bit of vinegar. They'll give them like a really delicious flavor, and you cook them till they're soft, and they'll be like a cooked kale or collard or other hearty leafy green. So don't compost them. So to cut this, I'm going to cut the top and bottom off. It always helps to have a really sharp knife. And the skin on the kohlrabi is usually pretty hard and fibrous, so I'm just going to cut that off, cut along the sides and get that skin off. Okay, skins are off, and I'll save those for my vegetable stock that I can make later with all my other scraps. And the way to approach this is to cut it as thinly, slice it as thinly as possible, and then slice it again to get matchsticks. So I'll just start by slicing vertically. And I'm trying to get like about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick slices. It's not the easiest vegetable to cut. Taste your vegetables. It is kind of like a jicama. It is a little reminiscent of cabbage. Reminds me a bit of an apple. All right, so now I have my kohlrabi matchsticks. I almost called it celery root because I like to make a little celery root slaw as well, and it looks a lot like this. But I have my Kohlrabi matchsticks, and I will tell you, I wanted really nice, even matchsticks, and I didn't really do that great of a job, and it's okay, don't worry. For my carrots, I'm just going to peel them real quickly. These are like pretty young carrots, and they actually don't even really have a thick skin. The color is just a little brighter with the peel, and I can taste. It's a little bitter, so it's a good idea that I peeled these carrots. All right, these little carrot skins are gonna go in my stockpile. Do not let Swanson make your vegetable broth, people. Please, you can make your own, and it's free because it's a waste product of something you already have on hand. I'm gonna matchstick these carrots too. So I usually will cut my carrot in half to do that, and then I can cut this into little slices, and then I can cut those into matchsticks. So I took those half carrots, I cut them down into these little strips, and then I'm just gonna stack those up and cut them into the matchsticks. All right, so I've got carrots and I have kohlrabi, and it's starting to look like a nice little slaw in here. I am going to now blanch my asparagus. So always remember to season your blanching water. So I'm gonna put a healthy amount of salt in here, and I do it like salmon. I taste my water, see if I have enough salt. I want this to taste kind of like the ocean because these asparagus are only gonna be in there for about 30 seconds, and they're not gonna have a lot of time to absorb the salt, so we're gonna go a little heavy on it so that they get a little kiss of salt. That tastes nice and salty. So boiling water with salt, got our little asparagus in there, and what I'm trying to do here is just barely cook them. I want the color to turn bright green, so that's what I'm looking for in my blanch, and as soon as they're bright green, I'll pull them out, and you can see that they're already a little brighter than they were, so. And they taste delicious, they still have crunch, they're bright green in color. So I decided I'm gonna plunge these into some ice water for two reasons. One, it's gonna stop the cooking, which I think they'll be okay even if I didn't do that, but two, I wanna cut these into smaller pieces for my slaw, so it's gonna allow me to handle them a little better. So I've got my asparagus, I'm gonna line them up. And I want, my matchsticks for both of these vegetables are fairly long, so I think that the asparagus we can do, I don't know. To make a match, I'd cut them into half. I have a little green onion here, so I'm going to just chop these all up a little bit at a bias, and I'll see how strong it is. It's really mild, so I think I can use that. So I want to just chop up my herbs for this salad. I have mint and cilantro here. Any kind of herb really would do. I feel like mint and cilantro are summery and abundant, and I think they're gonna go great with the slaw. So a real rough chop, only cutting these leaves in like half or quarters essentially. I don't want them too small because I want to really bite into the flavor of the herbs. And now we just need to make a dressing. So I'm making up this salad recipe today, but I didn't do it on my own. I actually used a couple of my favorite books to kind of give me a framework for making this dish. Some of my favorite books in the shop are organized by vegetable. So all of the books that I'm touching are, you look up the vegetable, and then it's gonna give you information about it and how to use it and a few recipes. And so I looked at a couple of coleslaw recipes in these books, and then I just kind of used what I have on hand and what was at the market, and I feel like these types of books are great references so that you can really do your own thing and utilize what you have versus what's in a recipe, or you can do exactly what the recipe says wherever you are in the process. we just need to make a dressing, and we will be ready to assemble this. For this dressing, I am going to use yogurt. This is a little bit of a neutral oil. It's avocado oil, so it's kind of thick and not extremely neutral, but neutral enough for me. And then I have a little bit of sherry vinegar that I'm adding in, and I'm gonna add salt. And I'm gonna whisk it all together. And you should always taste what you're making to see if it tastes right. Even if you're following a recipe from a book, there are a lot of variables and things can change, and always taste. This tastes great. I think that it needs a little more salt. I'm tasting the yogurt. I think it needs a little more oil because I want like a fat, creamy feeling to it, or taste to it. A little bit of olive oil in here because I think it's gonna taste good. And I'm gonna add more salt. And we'll stir it up and try that, see how that goes. That tastes delicious now. With just a little more, the oil just kind of brings it all together, makes it rich. And then that extra salt offsets the vinegar, which was just too acerbic. So you always want a bowl that's a little bigger than the contents of what you're mixing so that things don't fall out. This is a tight fit, but I think we can do it. And yeah, I'm just going to mix all my veggies into here. And I should get a bright, crunchy, juicy bites of kohlrabi. I should get a little crunchy sweetness from the carrots. And then I get that inimitable asparagus flavor, also with a little bit of crunch. And I have a lovely little salad here, but I'm not happy yet because I want to put pretty things on here. So I have a couple pretty things at my avail, and I also haven't tasted this yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try a bite and eat. Yeah, it's nice. All the things that I thought it was gonna do, it's doing. I think that I can add a little black sesame seed here as a garnish. It doesn't need to be in here, but it makes it look so much prettier when I do that. These seeds are gonna have a little bit of a nutty, crunchy flavor too. I think this could handle a little spice if you wanted it, so Aleppo pepper. I could put a little sumac into this, and that would give it a little lemony bite. So a lot of different things that you can do to kind of take the basic recipe and then alter it to your liking. One last thing that I just happen to have right next to me that I really want to put on top of here are some toasted and chopped up almonds, because I just kind of like them on top of everything. I also think that they will look cute on this salad, and I just want to remind you that we eat with our eyes, so make your food look cute. You can do it. Wow, it doesn't look that much cuter, but it'll taste okay. I mean, it'll taste great. All right, summer party, here we come. This would be great on a picnic. Stuff it in your tacos, eat it with your barbecue, put some lentils in it and make it like a whole dish, salad kind of thing. And yeah, there you go. Bon appetit.